Welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network, the number one faith-based motivational and inspirational broadcast platform in the country. GMAP1.com, also GMAP TV. Just got blessed to find out that I am going to be allowed to present I Am radio systems to the world, allowing them the opportunity to start their own AM frequency radio station in their areas. That is a blessing, man. I tell you, with this pandemic thing going on right now, everybody's either turning to their computers or listening to radio. So it is a blessing. Once again, welcome. And of course, I have to take time out to let you guys know that, as you can tell on our television screen, we have a guest here with us today. One of our featured authors, Mr. John Hill, is here. If you need to, or if you don't know, now you know, stop by GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. Click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors. How simple can you get? Featured Authors. You will see a copy of the publication that I'm currently showing you on our television screen. As a matter of fact, there's 3 of them there. You will see it. And of course, all we're asking you to do is click on it. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publications. You know, I won't even stop at publication. I'll say publications, because the one that he currently has released is not the one that really got my attention. The one that got my attention, well, I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Nevertheless, John Hill, why don't you do me a favor, man? Go ahead. First of all, let me ask you this. How are you? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine today. Yeah,
You said
weather's
today.
nice and it's not as foggy, so I'm doing fine today.
Now, I tell you, I could say that, but I tried to raise up my window today. It didn't take me 3 seconds to push it back down. You know, they call this the Windy City.
Right.
That is not giving it enough credit at all. It's well beyond windy. Okay.
Well, those guys here.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I used to like you, man. You know, do me a favor, if you don't mind, John. Introduce yourself, man. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. Who is John Hill?
Well, I'm from California, but I was born in Nevada, but I'm from California. Spent all of my life here. I worked in private industry for over 20 years, and then I worked in public employment for close to another 20 years. And I retired in 2009, and then I started writing books in 2009.
Writing books, he said. And you know, I'm very grateful for your presence in this arena, as they say, as an author. You know, you said I start writing books. And give us an example, man. What's currently your latest publication that you've released out for the eyes and ears of the people?
Well, the latest book is called The House at 1806 North Canyon Drive. And I started writing that book about 2 or 3 years ago. That's it. That's how long it takes me. I don't, I'm not a person that sits down and just put out an outline and then write a book. I go on what's in my head,
Ah,
and so it takes me a little while to formulate everything and put it all together. I have a couple of editors that I work with, and I send my information to them, and they edit it and put it together and comes up with the story. But this book was my family were my father told me as a child that his family was Creole. And so that's the reason that's how I came up with this idea of a Creole family.
mm.
And it's fiction. So I hope no one reads it and thinks that I'm talking about them, but because it's fiction, and I just came up with the story and it kept developing and developed into the novel that I wrote.
Right. Well, I can't even begin to ask or say, is this particular publication a follow up, because it's evident that you have some publications prior and or previously, previous to the one that you've just released. Looking at all three publications, of course, we are going to encourage those individuals that are out there viewing and listening. Show your support for Mr. John Hill. Show your support by going out and sharing it, purchasing, downloading, whatever the case may be. Speaking of that, um, um, if someone did want to show their support, besides them stopping by the GMAP Broadcast Network platform and clicking on of course, the cover that I have this, and I'm a little jealous. I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I see the one publication. The one publication is on our platform, but you have three.
Right.
And I feel like, John. It's like picking my favorite child. It's it's if I pick my favorite child, then I'm gonna get smacked in the head by the other 10.
Right. Right.
And I have a gang of children. As a matter of fact, my family alone can play you in a football game with a
Yeah.
full team.
That's right. That's what I heard. That's amazing.
With a full, I mean, I will have a child in every position. You know, so hey, don't challenge me.
No.
Don't. But you know what? And it's ironic because how far back. I mean, you said it does take you a while to write your publications. How far back does it go where you have written your very first publication?
I wrote my first. I used to write pamphlets, and those were just things I would put together because I was a motivational speaker for youth, and I would put things together for the kids that I was going to uh, talk with. But the first publication I put out was in 2009 or 2010, called Dreamer in the Fields, which is an autobiography of myself, how I grew up. Um, and we grew up as migrant. The first thing I remember as a kid, and that I could remember, was working in the fields, picking cotton, picking fruits, um, and traveling. We would always, I mean, our house was on top of our car or in the trunk. That's what I would say to people, that's what that because we moved all the time. We moved, if you know the state of California, we moved from the Central Valley, which is Bakersfield, all the way to Oregon and Washington, and then back down again. And so we were always moving. Every day or every other day we were on the road.
Right.
And it was nine there were 9 kids and my mom and dad. So that's 11 people in one car, not a station wagon, not a SUV, a car,
Mm.
and
Wow.
little kids. And some of our kids were so little, we would put one in the back window, the baby, and put the other one on the floor, the youngest boy. So we moved. Sometimes we would find cabins that we would live in, and sometimes we just took our tent out of the back of the trunk and put it up in the middle of an orchard, and that's where we would sleep. And we got food by fishing, or we got food by other ways. So that's the way I grew up the first 9 years of my life. That's what it was. I went to between 20 and 20. one grammar schools between the first and fourth grade. And so I taught myself how to read and write. I started reading when I was about 5. My dad said that I just picked up books and all. He said, you just started reading. So I started reading very early, and it became that's how I would get through the day. Is that I always had a book in my pocket, always, no
Right.
matter where I was. Sometimes my dad said that I'd look up and the other kids would be picking cotton right alongside of me, and I couldn't find you, and I'd go back down the road, and there you were sitting down reading a book.
Wow.
And so reading became a passion. It got me through a lot of the terrible situations I was in, but reading became a passion. And if my father would go into a bar and drink like a lot of men did in those days, I would be in the car reading a book
Right.
until he came back out. Um, and so school became very, very interesting. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to if I could get through school, I told myself maybe I can make it. And I think that was a passion of mine, was to go to school. And my dad and I would get into arguments, and it wasn't really arguments. It's just me as a kid expressing myself, saying I need to go to school, and so he would say no, we have to go work. And so what I figured out was that the farm labor bus, every when you a farm laborer, you follow a bus out to where the field is, because the person who was the contractor had that field. And
Right.
so
Right.
you had to follow that bus that he was on with the rest of the field workers, and those of us in cars would follow it. And I knew when that bus left, my father had we had to follow it. So I would get up early, and they couldn't find me.
Right. Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Okay. Taking a look back over your life, you do realize that at this point in life, 2022, going through the things that we're going through or have been through, you know that as well as I do that we're role models. We're role models. 'Cause I know out of 11 children, I got to be somebody's role model.
Yes.
Whether it's good or bad, somebody might look at me in a negative way, but I'm their role model. Ooh, he does. Okay, but we are role models to someone, whether we like it or not. I mean,
Right.
someone is always paying attention to our journey and watching our every step. And for someone that is watching you right now and saying to themselves, you know, I really wish that I could get on track and do a lot of the things that I have a passion to do. I dream about, I vision about. And I want to do it kind of similar to what John has done. He's followed his dreams. He's a reader. He's a writer. He's doing what's necessary to follow his dreams, to do what he, in my opinion, was called to do. I wonder what I can do or how I can get motivated enough to get on track to follow my dreams. What words of encouragement would you have to share with someone like that today, John?
I would say to them that all of us have a passion for something, and don't let anyone get you off track. In other words, you would say to someone, I really would like to write, and they'll say, "Oh man, you can't. Don't be. I mean, they don't be taking your time doing that. You haven't. Don't worry about that." That the point is, it's what you really want to do.
Amen.
My passion was to go to school. That was my passion. Now other people could skip school. They could. That was my passion. My passion was to write. I wanted to do a story about my life, which also gave me comfort. But I also wanted to just sit down and just I read a lot, and I said, I can write a book. So I sat down and I started writing a book and putting it together. That's what you have to do, but you
Right.
can't allow people to throw you off your path,
I always,
because
you
they
know,
will.
I always,
They
I
It will
always
take
tell
you out
people.
of it.
I I I I always tell people I don't care what you do, think, feel, or say. I'm on my way.
That's correct.
If you're not in my corner, then move out of the way.
That's correct.
I have work to do. Now, I also believe, John, that your destiny was determined before your delivery.
Yes.
So if you were called to do something,
Yes.
all you have to do is be willing to endure the process.
Correct.
And I'm going to say this, the process is never easy. Okay, I'm going to do like you. I'm going to tell a little story. What if Jesus did not endure the process?
Right.
When he took that journey down that long road of Golgotha, carrying his own execution device, the
Right.
cross,
Right.
that had to be a heck of a journey because they were beating him down, spitting on him, kicking him, ripping his skin from his body, talking about crucify him.
Right.
The whole community, everybody, crucify, even the people he thought was in his corner,
Right.
crucify him. Now, if Jesus would have gave up then, where would we be? Now, I'm grateful, John, for what the songwriter said. That's not how the story ends. So
Right.
I'm great. I'm
That's
grateful for that.
right. That's
So
right.
what my point is, Jesus followed his dream. He followed his passion. He's followed his calling. No matter what people think, no matter what they done, no matter what they said, he followed his vision, his dreams, his responsibility, his calling. You have to be willing to do the same thing in order to do what you need to do to inevitably reach your destiny. Now, it's kind of ironic because the process is what we have to endure, and the
Right.
Bible tells us to pick up our cross and carry it daily.
Right.
The
Right.
same thing he had to do in order to make it to where he made it to in order to die for our sins. Okay. I'm preaching now, so let me stop. You know, let me stop. Now, for those individuals, John, that they're listening, they're watching, they're appreciating, and they wanted to support, what's the process for them to do so? How can one and or three? Now, I'm going to say, I'm going to rewind the tape and press play. I'm jealous because I got one book on the site, but the other two are MIA. I'm a little upset about you about that, but I'm trying. I'm trying to be reasonable here and show everybody all three publications.
Right.
Unfortunately, I have the one publication on our site. Maybe we got to work on that. You know,
Yes.
chances are we can get all three because I don't want to be prejudiced to one of them. I want
Right.
all three on the site, so we can probably work that out. But still, what's the process for them if someone wanted to show their love, care, concern, and support and go out, support, and download one of the copies that you have available today?
Well, there's Amazon.com is where most of the books are there, and Barnes and Noble. The books are there. But there's one point I wanted to make, Rev, for my listeners, and I try to tell people this, and especially young people this: God has given each of you a gift. What you have to do is figure out what is the gift He's given to me, and then what I have to do with it. But everyone is born given a gift.
Ah,
Some people can sing, some people can dance, some people can act, some people become CEOs of corporations, some people become great doctors and great lawyers. You have to, when your children are little, you have to watch them and see what get. I noticed one of my daughters was a great athlete. I noticed it at a very young age. I did, we worked on it. We developed it. We didn't just look at it and walk away and say, "Nah, that's not going to happen." So I like for people to know when in my writings, when I wrote the sermon at the Coliseum, it's because of my foster dad was a minister, and he and I disagreed on a lot of stuff. Even as a young kid, and when I was 12 and 13, I would argue with him about religion and my belief and his belief and what he preached and what I felt I should know. So that's what I'm saying. You have to figure out what is the gift that God has given to me that I need to develop. See, Reb, I thought it was singing. See, I wanted to be a singer, but that wasn't it. that that didn't work out, you know. So I had to go back and figure out. And my gift to the world was I think one of the best affirmative action officers in the country.
Let me say this. Let me say this to you, John. You thought it was. I'm gonna tell you how you could, number one, recognize your gift. Now I'm gonna speak to you as a friend and a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now somebody asked me one time, Pastor Kevin, how do you know you've been called to do something?
Right.
I say, well, that's about as easy a question as you can ask me. He said, well, what's your answer? I said, well, you don't accept being called. Oh my goodness, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You don't just accept being called. You will begin to be the call.
That's yeah.
See,
Right.
one of the things that people have to understand is God will call you when he know it will make you uncomfortable. See, people don't understand that. Your calling is in an area that does not make you comfortable.
Yeah.
See. Oh my God, I'm preaching again. Let me stop. See, I know. See, John, let me tell you something. I know for a fact how you were able to write the sermon at the Coliseum. You ain't watched nobody. You're a
Nope.
preacher. I can tell. When you give a preacher a microphone, we
Don't
all
do it.
we all gonna say the same thing, John. I shall not be before you very long.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't give him a mic.
That's a habit. I'm gonna tell you that. But you know what? I'm so grateful for that mother in the front row. See, people
Right.
don't understand. I love if a mother ain't there, I'm not gonna even start preaching yet. See, because I know the mother in the front row gonna do one thing that ain't nobody else gonna do. She gonna say, "Take your time, Pastor," and you. So,
That's true.
so I'm gonna listen to the mother, because the mother older than me. So I'm gonna listen to the mother, and everybody in the church outside that mother is rolling their eyes, looking at that mother like, oh my goodness, if you was a little younger, so they talk about the mother, but nevertheless, your calling will be based on uncomfortability.
Yes.
Your calling will be based on beginning to be the call. I'm going to be honest with you. I've always wanted to do what I do, but it used to make me uncomfortable.
Okay.
I used to watch my brother, and I used to tell him, I always wanted to do that, but I didn't want to do it at the magnitude he was doing it at. And when God told me to do it in a ministry form, well, God knows if you'd have told me 20 years ago I was going to be a preacher, God forgive me, but I'd have slapped you. I, I love it. No, you bet not tell me I'm going to be a preacher because, I like doing what I was doing. I like running the streets. I like hanging out and smoking and drinking and all that good. When I become a preacher, I can't do those things.
Yeah, yeah.
So the moral to the story is it will make you uncomfortable to make that shift. I noticed that you got that guitar in the back.
Yeah.
That's just giving you some memories.
Right.
It's sitting there looking good, but it's gonna stay there.
I have two of them back there.
Yeah. It's sitting there looking good, but you might as well get a nail and hang them on the wall because that's as
far as they go.
Man, that's as far as they going. It won't be in your hands no more. But nevertheless, man, I tell you, we are grateful, honored, privileged, and blessed to have you as one of our featured authors. And you are fastly becoming someone that I can say is my friend.
Right.
I'm grateful for that. I'm praying for your blessings, your family's blessings,
Thank you.
your producer wife. I know she's there, or she's gonna be on it. So I gotta send my love out to her, my shout out, and tell her keep doing what she's doing to be supportive to what it is that God has required of you. We are grateful, and we want to do everything that we can to continue to show our support, our love, our assistance to your journey. With that being said, I appreciate you being here today. I appreciate you becoming a part of the GMAP family. And I appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your journey. You have the number. We want you not to just have it, but use it. If you're not going to use it, just delete it. It's in the way.
Right.
Use it. Call, text, chat, tweet. Well, you ain't too technical right now, so we're going to just tell you to call.
Okay.
We can
Good.
And let us know what we can do. How we can, team up and assist you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And we want you to know, John, that the answer will always be yes. And you will never, ever have to ask us twice, okay?
Thank you.
God bless you, man. We appreciate you being here. We're going to do everything we can to continue to assist you. Hey, if I can't have those other 2 books on our platform, I'm deleting everything.
No, you'll get them.
If I see the name John, it might not even be John Hill, but if I see the name John, I'm gonna make somebody mad at me because I'm gonna push the delete button. Delete. That's just delete. That's just delete. So with that being said, man, I really appreciate you being here today, and of course, I'll be reaching out to you shortly to let you know where we truly go from here.
Okay.
I'll be placing this on the necessary platforms for future views. We're going to do everything we can to continue to assist you. With that being said, John, we want you to continue by all means to be blessed and continue to be a blessing to people around the world, okay?
Thank you very much.
Well, that was the shortest response I got from you.
Right.
Is that all? Let me wait. Is that it? Or is it?
That's it.
I tell you, boy, this has been an outstanding day and an outstanding conversation. I truly, man, I can kid with you, man, but I truly appreciate you being here today. And thank you so much, man, for your patience, your due diligence, and your understanding, okay?
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that being said, of course, again, John Hill right here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. We want you guys to continue to be blessed and be a blessing. Peace. God bless you. Take care. Take it easy. If it's good to you, take it twice. Remember this. God died for your sins. Be blessed and appreciate that and be a blessing to others. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.